Hello everyone and welcome to your practice. Today we're just gonna wiggle around and explore and just see what's here and settle in. Sometimes the biggest challenge is just getting to our mat. And even still, there's days where I'm like, I don't even know what I want to do or what I need. And to really just get still for a moment and see what naturally arises. And so we'll wing it. We'll see what happens here. We'll start in a cross-legged position, Sukhasana. And just take a moment to feel in. Root down through the sit bones. We start to spiral the spine, going in one direction. And making this as big or as small as you'd like. Maybe getting the shoulders and the head involved. Just waking up the spine and going in the other direction. Releasing the cerebral synovial fluid to help lubricate the joints. Good. And then we'll meet in center and do a forward fold. So just coming into a forward fold, walking the hands down. Same thing, maybe tenting up the fingers and just finding a little bit of a wave, a little bit of a sway. And then we'll walk the hands over towards the right. Keep the right hand planted. On an inhale, lift the left arm up overhead. Really press the ground away with that right hand and reach over with the left fingertips. And maybe finding some pulsation here. So on an exhale, start to curl yourself in, and then inhale, float yourself up. So a couple times like this with breath. Letting this inhale lift you up, and an exhale, find a lowering down. Just let your breath move you in whatever feels good. And then we'll release the left hand down and we'll walk ourselves over towards the left. So keep that left hand planted and inhale, right arm sweeps up overhead. And reaching over with the right fingertips. Feeling a nice side body stretch. And then your choice to explore with breath. So maybe finding that pulsation and lift as you inhale, and then an exhale, slight fold and curling in. This natural rise and fall of the breath, and just letting it move you. Once more here. And exhale, release the hand to the floor. Walk yourself to center. Maybe another little wiggle. And then coming up to a seated position. Go ahead and plant the hands behind you and plant the feet in front. And we're going to come into a bit of a hip opener. So bring the left ankle over the right knee. An option to extend the right leg long. So your preference here. And seeing if you can roll the shoulders back and bring the chest forward. And the closer you scoot this right foot in towards the glute, the intensity of the stretch increases. And seeing if you can keep this top foot flexed, making it nice and active. Maybe finding some movement here, a little rock from side to side. And then we'll go ahead and bring the whole structure over towards the right and find a gentle twist. So wrapping right arm around the leg and left fingertips plant behind. Shoulder blades draw down the back as the chest opens. And take a full round of breath in and out. And then coming back to center, unraveling the legs, hands plant, and this time we'll switch it right ankle over the left thigh. Option to extend that left leg long, roll the shoulders down and back, and pull the heart center forwards, almost like you can pull it and touch the shin. And again, the closer that you scoot that left foot in towards the glute, you might notice a different sensation or a more noticeable sensation. And just breathing into the stretch, letting the breath flow. If you notice any constriction in the breath, maybe easing out of the pose a little bit. And then wherever you are, we'll shift the structure over towards the left. And wrap the left hand around the leg, right hand plants behind, shoulders go down and back, and find your gentle twist. Full in-breath. Exhale, empty out. And then we'll make our way into tabletop position. So however you want to get there, unravel the legs and we'll meet on all fours, spreading the fingers wide. And then we're actually going to tuck the toes under and sit the hips back, coming into this active child's pose, almost like a pouncing position. So hips go back. The hands are energetically pulling back towards the back of the mat. Heart reaches forward. And again, we're going to move in a bit of an anti-pattern. So we talk a lot about how humans are pattern-making machines. And when we do something that is not within our usual, it can often feel uncomfortable. And so just seeing where the mind goes when you move in a different way and noticing how it gets easier as you continue to explore, right? So oftentimes it's uncomfortable and hard in the beginning. And then as we move and breathe, it gets a little bit easier as we find a rhythm. So here we go. So we're gonna slither our way in through cow and then round the back into cat as we sit the hips back. Coming back to active child's pose. So almost scooping and slithering our way into cow, keeping the elbows nice and soft, and then round the back, tailbone drops as you come back into child's pose. So maybe inhaling as you scoop into cow, and then exhaling as you round into cat. Finding a nice undulation in the spine as you move through cat-cow. This time on your way through cat, go ahead and send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Taking a moment to settle in. And then inhale, the left leg lifts, tripod down dog. And then open up the hip. Maybe more weight goes into the right hand as you open up the left hip. And then inhale, come to center, lengthen the leg. Exhale, puff up the back, knee to nose. Inhale, tripod down dog. And this time, exhale, bring the knee halfway up the mat. So dropping the knee halfway up the mat and lengthening the right leg back. So right toes are going to lift, gazing forward. And then go ahead and bring the right toes off the left side of the mat. So getting a nice side body stretch here on the right side, maybe gazing back at that right foot, really driving that heel back. And then go ahead and bring the right foot up towards the top of the mat, and we'll find lizard pose. So maybe you need to adjust yourself, lengthen that left leg long behind you. And keep the left hand planted and come into a lizard twist. So right hand to right thigh, shoulders go down and back, heart shines up. And take a moment here in this lizard twist. Breathing into the hips. And then release the hand and begin to walk the foot over towards the left side of the mat, lying the shin down. We'll make our way into pigeon pose. So a little bit of an interesting transition there. Coming into pigeon, left leg lengthens behind, and the right shin is facing the top of the mat. Doesn't have to be parallel, just going in that direction. And your option to maybe keep the hands on the ground, or you can fold forward, maybe coming onto forearms. For me today, I'm going to stay upright. This feels nice for me. Get a bit of a back bend here. Find some opening in the front of the body. And just breathing deeply. Maybe notice where you normally go and what it's like when you don't do what you normally do. And wherever you are, we'll plant the hands and we'll make our way back into downward facing dog. So tuck the toes and the legs and the hips up and back and find downward facing dog. Inhale, round forward, plank pose. And then slowly lower yourself down, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. And then extend the arms long out in a T. Fingertips are tented. And we'll wave the spine here in cobra. So inhale, round the back, unfurl. And then exhale, float yourself back down. Inhale, press down through the pubic bone and tops of the thighs as you round up. And then exhale, allow yourself to float back down. Once more. Inhale, round and unfurl. Open up the throat. Exhale, release. Hands to the sides of the body. Tuck the toes and come back into that active child's pose. So hips to heels, hands reaching forward, chest pulls forward. And we'll take a couple rounds here with that rolling cow cat. So inhale, slither your way through cow, and exhale, round the back into cat. Twice more. Coming through cow into cat. This time we'll make our way downward facing dog. Take a moment, find your down dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, open up the hip. Inhale, find center, lengthen the leg. Exhale, puff up the back, knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring the knee halfway up the mat, dropping it down. Left leg lengthens back. Left toes lift. And then tap the left toes off the right side of the mat. Gazing back, really pressing that right heel away. Getting nice and archy on the side body. And then go ahead and bring the left foot up towards the top of the mat. Find your way, lizard pose. Hands on the inside of the left foot. An option to stay here, or maybe plant the right hand. Left hand comes to thigh. As you draw the shoulder blades back together, heart spirals up, and find a lizard twist. One more full round of breath here. Release the left hand. Start to walk the foot over towards the right side of the mat, lying the shin down, lengthening that back leg, and finding pigeon pose. Your variation. Maybe fingertips plant and the spine stays long, or option to walk yourself forward, maybe come into forearms or a prop. You do you. And just take about 2 or 3 rounds of breath here. And then wherever you are, we'll plant the hands, tuck the back toe, send yourself back, downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, wave yourself forward, plank pose. Lower yourself down, and we'll find cobra pose. So extending the arms out long in a T, maybe coming up onto fingertips. Pressing down to the tops of the thigh and the pubic bone. Inhale, round the back as you unfurl. Find length. Exhale, lowers you down. Twice more, rinse out. Inhale, lifts you up. Exhale, lowers you down. Once more. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, float down. Bring the hands to the outside of the chest. Tuck the toes, come back into active child's pose. So taking a moment here, drawing the chest forward, hands drawing back. And then find that cat-cow. And making it yours. Scribbling outside the lines. Do what feels good in your body. Good. This time, release the toes. Send the hips back. Walk the hands towards you as you stack the spine. Coming to a seat on the shins. So we'll work with dancing camel. This is one of my favorites, as it just seems so graceful and flowy and just really coordinates the breath and movement so well. So we'll plant the right hand behind us. Inhale, swoop the left arm up overhead. And then on an exhale, we're gonna swoosh over towards the left. So left fingertips plant, right arm reaches up overhead. And then exhale, we get low, swoosh the arms over to the other side. Option to lift the hips when you come up and around. And then exhale, sink the hips back to the heels and switch over to the other side. So doing a few rounds of this, moving at your own pace with your breath. And just making this a nice fluid movement as you go from side to side. Maybe keeping eyes open or eyes closed to get more in tune, more in rhythm with the motion and the breath. Once more each side. Good. And then we'll come to a seat. And then we'll come to a seat on the booty and just find a forward fold before we close out. So maybe moving the booty out of the way up from underneath you to help the pelvis sit forward and find some length in the spine. So inhaling fully, reaching through the crown of the head, and then exhale, begin to fold forward. Maybe palms come up. Option to keep a slight bend in the knees if the hamstrings are especially tight. And just letting yourself be heavy. Let the earth hold you. Breathing into the back body. Feeling it expand as you inhale. And gently deflate as you exhale. Letting yourself soften with every exhale. On your next inhale, slowly rise up. And making our way back into a seat, Sukhasana. Maybe closing the eyes down. Taking another moment here together. Noticing the effects of your practice. And maybe notice what it was like to move a little bit differently. Maybe something that wasn't quite the ordinary. And what it would be like to apply this to everyday life. To notice when I'm moving in a pattern and using discernment to decide if this pattern benefits me or maybe it's hindering me. And can I bring my conscious awareness to it to try something different? To be courageous and compassionate with the self. And maybe bringing hands to heart center to close out our practice. Sending thanks and gratitude to each and every one of you. Namaste.